What's up, everybody? Welcome to Test Your Might, the how did Cicero put it last week? The premiere, the one, the only video game debate show on the interwebs. My name is Mike, and I'm joined by my two fellow friends. They call themselves the Shenaniman. One's very blurry and has a purple ring around him, and that's Justin. How's it going, Justin?
Hello there. I am ready for
Hello
tonight. I am excited to debate my fellow Shenaniman, or Shenaniman. Cicero, how are you today?
I am doing great. This is going to be what a shenanigan show. I can't wait to debate. Don't be late.
Because it won't be great if you're late. Yeah. I finished it off for you.
There you go.
Okay. Well, anyway, today we will be discussing the PS5 price jump, Gamescom 2022, and much, much more. But first, let me tell you what you should do. You should leave us a review. We would really appreciate it. It helps us in algorithms and all that, especially on Apple iTunes. And we would also love to read it on the show. If you're on Spotify, go ahead and check the mobile app. You can you could leave a 5-star review there on the mobile app. And if you're on YouTube, please like, comment, and especially subscribe. We're on the road to 100 subscribers, so that we could just say youtube.com/whatthefunpod. You know, that would just be awesome. So, and of course, comment down below. Let us know what you think of this episode, and let us know how we're doing. And if you head on over to our other show, the What the Fun Show, we have a special giveaway going on right now that we will be starting officially with our Return of the King review for the Lord of the Rings. So we are giving away a Lord of the Rings 4K box set, digitally though, I believe. So yeah, just get ready for that, and it will be attached to our Return the King episode. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, that's housekeeping.
How do you have a digital box set?
I just
you can't have digital boxes.
All right, I'm moving on. I've been done with you.
I've been keeping it secret, keeping it safe.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. So head on over to there and figure out how you can enter. The details were in our last episode, which is our Two Towers review. So listen to that review. There you will get all the details and then go from there. All right. Question of the week, gentlemen. Getting to know us series. We're still going through this. Favorite band or artist of all time? Cicero, I'm going to go your way first.
Yeah, this is an easy one for me. It is band and artist is Boogie Down Productions. And the artist is KRS-One, Knowledge Reigns Supreme over nearly everyone.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know that one.
Yeah, Boogie Down Productions. He made songs like "Boop Boop." That's the sound of the police.
Oh, yes.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
So
okay.
Yeah, there you go. Self-Destruction. Yeah, The Bridge is Over. These are great songs, the annals of hip hop. Personally, to me, the greatest MC, the greatest rapper of all time is KRS-One.
There you go. High praise. Justin, I might know this answer.
So you will know the band, but I also threw in an artist just to be safe, because the band isn't considered really an artist in my book. Artist is one person. So the band, obviously, you know, is Metallica. I've grown up with them and loved them for a long time. Artist of all time is actually the king of pop, Michael Jackson, though. Something you might not have known. He is by far my favorite artist, solo artist. And sure, he was in the Jackson 5, but that would have been a
band. Sure. Or I feel like the Jackson 5 would have been considered a group.
Yeah, they are also a band. They played instruments.
Huh?
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought they just sang. All right.
They danced, played instruments, and everything. They were like all the bunch all together.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. My favorite band of all time is Breaking Benjamin. Love their stuff. I've loved them ever since. I started listening to them back in the day. I think it was like, yeah, I mean, they were around before I started listening to them, but I really started listening to them in like 2000, like 7, 8, but they had a couple albums before I started listening to them, and then just went into their back catalog, and then I've been listening to them ever since. Yeah, recently they came out with a single that they did with another band that I like, so they kind of co-opt that single, and I've been listening to that nonstop. It's so good. I love Breaking Benjamin. Close second is the Beatles. I just love their music, love their anthology. I really, really fell in love with the Beatles, actually, like even more so than I used to be. When, Beatles Rock Band came out, I was playing that with Justin all the time. So, yeah, the Beatles, awesome. Awesome stuff. Okay. Time for what have you been playing, Justin? We'll go your way first.
Well, we shared an experience. I'll leave that for you if you'd like to talk about that.
No, go ahead. I have other things, so you can.
We started a gameplay of The Quarry on Xbox together. Not knowing that the host was the only one that could really make decisions throughout the entire thing. So Mike kind of got on the back seat of that, and then I kind of
the stick.
Yeah, I just kind of derailed it a little bit towards the end, but it was fun.
Well, I mean, yeah.
He's like, "Oh, let's do this," and I just let the person die. So,
well, so I restarted it, doing a single player playthrough, and I think you would have gotten the same outcome no matter what, because I did some of the different decisions than you did.
Hey, this is my turn right now. This is my turn. I'm talking about what I've been playing. You were part of that.
You started that, and you said we played it, so I could join in.
I guess. Yeah, if your decisions in the gameplay made sense and made a change, then yes. But I was in charge there. So
that's right.
Other than that, I did play some games on the PC that came to Ultimate. One returned to Wolfenstein, an old game, first-person shooter. Very good. Very, prior to any of the Bethesda content that ever came out. This was something that I grew up with. Then I tried the original Fallout point-and-click adventure. That was interesting. Doesn't hold up very well, but it was cool, I guess. And then a couple new games came out on Apple Arcade that I've tried out as well. Jetpack Joyride 2, which was a run-and-gunner that I played back in the day, Jetpack Joyride. And this is new and improvised, much better. Lots of new stuff, new content, and the soundtrack is just as good. And then there was another one here called Love You to Bits, which came out on Apple Arcade as well. That is a story-driven experience, point-and-click adventure, where you are trying to find the person you love and collect her pieces across the galaxy. You're kind of like robots in this sense. And it's good. So it's got some good drama in it. I like it.
Okay, cool. Well, so we did play The Quarry, but yeah, so we played the mode that is basically made for streaming, and so there's supposed to be a group of people, like a good number of people. I would say 3 at minimum for this particular game mode, because when you do it with 2 players, if I chose something different than Justin did, it always went with the host.
Right.
So it didn't. I really had no say in our story. That we were walking through together.
I mean, if you and Justin agreed, then you did.
Well, yes, but like, sure.
So always agree with Justin.
Yeah, well, I didn't always agree with Justin, and that was the problem.
Right.
So
it sounds like
so
it was
like
your problem.
I think no, it was Justin's problem. I think that the biggest thing is that, like, I think the Quarry needs to fix that. Like, I don't know. Maybe this is something that they planned for, but Justin, you were saying that the Dark Pictures anthology, like that type of stuff, they do online co-op where you are
Yes.
actually utilizing one of the other characters within the story. And this one here, I just felt left out of the experience, even though it was still fun to hang out with Justin and play games. You know, we hadn't done that in a while, so that was good. But regardless, like, I was messaging Justin, I think I'm gonna play my own playthrough because I want my decisions to kind of matter a little bit too. So yeah, so just to expound on that, we'll go Cicero's way first, and then I'll round us out. Go ahead.
Oh, well, why don't you just expound on it?
Well, I already expounded on the Corey. Yeah, Justin said I couldn't talk, so then I decided to talk because I'm the host.
Okay.
Yeah, but now I'm
okay.
Yeah, now I'm giving you
Cicero. You can go ahead now, and then Mike will come back.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks a lot, Justin.
So I beat God of War, and man, that was such a ride, man. Like, God of War, man, that game was good.
Yeah.
All right, Cicero, you can finish it off.
You remember that talking stick from last episode?
Yeah.
You don't want to talk about God of War?
Oh man, I could expound on that if you would like.
Yeah, please go right ahead.
All right, sure. Okay, thank you. The twist at the end, like, I'm not going to spoil it because I know that there's a lot of people who potentially haven't played it and maybe are going to try to play it before Ragnarok, which is that's kind of what the boat I was in. So I wanted to finish it beforehand. And man, the story of that game is so incredible. And not to mention the combat systems are as incredible and as deep, that it just made for such an incredible experience. And, you know, I was playing it on a base PS4 and it still looked phenomenal. Like, I didn't have a PS4 Pro. Don't have a PS5, obviously, because nobody does except Cicero. But seriously, like, it is almost a cinematic masterpiece, and yet you get to control part of it, which is what I thoroughly loved. I'm sure that on the PS5, like, the World Serpent looks better, but even on this PS4 on my big, you know, HDR TV, like, looking at the World Serpent within Midgard, oh man, it was just so amazing. And then yeah, all the story beats up until the end, like, and this is one of the games that after playing it, I truly feel like I want to play some of the after story content, you know, take down some of the Valkyries and stuff that are around the area. So yeah, I'm extremely looking forward to Ragnarok. Definitely going to be getting it and playing it. Yeah. Phenomenal game. So yeah, I've also been playing, me and Sean are very close to finishing Escape Academy. So we're almost done with that. It's been such a good experience, just playing through that puzzle game with him. And yeah, I played a little Madden because I was doing the Madden trial, testing out the new game, and honestly, the on-field mechanics feel pretty good. And that's kind of the rumblings that I'm seeing. And maybe Cicero, you could expound on this as well, but that's kind of the rumblings I'm seeing on the Twitterverse. And just like how the reviews that came from several different outlets is that on the field, this is the best Madden in years, but there's still kind of bugs. And there's still, like, not as deep of systems and, like, things that you could go into, but overall, like, I've had some fun with the times that I've played it. I, like, just quit, you know, for several games because I was just like, I wasn't, like, feeling frustrated or anything like that, but I was like, I don't want to deal with learning these new mechanics, especially the passing one. Cicero, so that's how I'll transition it to you. Did you choose the, like, power and accuracy type of passing, or just the power?
I did both.
Okay, so you've tried both.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Because I think
I'm using power and accuracy.
Okay, if I were to continue playing this game, which I don't think I will, because I'm not really into sports games too much anymore, but I think I would just do the power, because, like, the accuracy is just, like, there's like a lot to do while you're passing.
Yes, there is, but if I mean, it definitely is it makes the learning curve much steeper.
There's gonna be a huge skill gap.
Yeah, but it is, but I think it's designed for people that are going to be playing Madden for long periods of time. So for those people, you can really squeak the most. You can get the most out of the game that way, because you can pinpoint the passes where you can put the ball over the player's right shoulder. If you're done it right, if you've timed it all out right, and those are things, little nuances that you can learn or develop as you're playing the game. So it's definitely a mode that I kept on, and I'm interested in really being able to exploit going forward. The game mechanics, the on-field mechanics are really, really good. They still need to tweak them out a little bit, but that's okay. There are still like very large usability bugs within the game. I'm still kind of waiting for those to be patched before I start playing it in earnest. But yes, I do agree with you in the sentiment on Twitter that on the field, it's the best Madden in years, which is great.
Did you watch that video I sent you earlier?
Yes, but I've already seen those.
That was hilarious, though. I hadn't seen that yet.
Yeah. I've seen. There are. If you want to check out Madden bugs, there are some hilarious. Like, how is this even possible? Physics defying bugs. Well, within this game, they make life worth living.
Super funny. Justin, I'll send it to you afterwards so you can watch it.
Yeah. So in addition to playing that, I've been playing a game called Rumbleverse.
Oh, nice. I've heard good things.
Which is a hand-to-hand combat, almost like wrestling, battle royale from Epic. And it is, is it a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. It's very easy to play. It's not as sweaty as most BRs are. I think it feels more fair. I think because the mechanics are very, very simple, and then, there's just different things in the mix and you're not really dealing with projectiles. It really streamlines the gameplay and it makes the gameplay play a lot more fair and feel a lot more fun, at least from my perspective. And it definitely doesn't discourage me when I die to like go forward and participate in another one. I'm having a blast with it. It's free to play. It's cross platform and cross progression. And it's on all platforms. I would highly recommend anyone. Even if you're not a huge fan of battle royales, I would say give this one a shot.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Rumbleverse looks pretty fun. So I might take heed to your recommendation. So, all right. Time to get into the news. We have a wild one to start off with. PS5 is getting a price jump, and it is going up roughly $50 in most of the territories that they are doing it. So it is not affecting the US. However, it is affecting most of the other major kind of territories. So, in a blog post from Sony themselves, it says, quote, "The global economic environment is a challenge that many of you around the world are no doubt experiencing. And based on these challenging economic conditions, SIE, Sony Interactive Entertainment, has made the difficult decision to increase the recommended retail price of PlayStation 5 in select markets across Europe, Middle East, and Africa, Asia Pacific, Latin America, as well as Canada." And there's going to be, again, as I stated, there is no price increase in the United States. So, a couple days after this was announced, Nintendo and Microsoft did come out and say that they were not going to be making a price jump in their particular consoles, the Switch and the Series X and S consoles. So, Justin, what do you think of this news? What do you got?
I think that this has kind of put Sony under a little bit of hot water, unfortunately, because Xbox and Nintendo did that so quickly, saying that this inflation didn't affect them in a way, or they're able to eat that cost, is pretty big, and that makes Sony look like they really need that cash. Even if they don't, it does make it look that way. And I know Cicero already has a PS5, so he's not planning to buy a second one, even if he could possibly get one. I know I was probably going to get PSVR 2, possibly. But it's tough because, even with the Oculus, that just went up $100 over this last like 3 months. And they're still selling. PlayStations are still going to sell. The demand's not going to go down because of this. It's just more change people have to pay out. And it makes, from my own perspective, since the inflation isn't across the board with every company, I feel like it's a little suspicious. There's no big red flags, but it does seem a little suspicious.
Cicero.
I believe him when it comes to the inflation, and it really doesn't matter what I believe. What really matters, as far as certainly is concerned, is what their investors believe, and their investors spoke very loudly by saying they were not happy at all with this decision, and didn't leave them with a lot of confidence that the stock price tanked. The stock price dropped. It didn't tank. But nonetheless, usually that means that your investors aren't happy with the decisions that you've made, and consumers are not going to be happy with it, but they're still going to be buying. They're still going to sell every PlayStation that they have that shows up on the shelf. So it sucks, right? People's income is being stretched even further and further. Inflation is making things more difficult. This is a result of inflation potentially, and it sucks that people are gonna have to spend more money to get the console, but they're still gonna sell them.
Yeah. Certainly going to still sell them. Obviously, it doesn't affect us here in the United States, but it certainly affects a lot of fellow gamers around the world. And there's going to be, I saw on Twitter that there were just a lot of people who were, saving up, planning to invest into the PlayStation 5, and now with this kind of not really consumer-friendly decision that Sony has made, they've kind of maybe made the decision not to purchase the console anymore. I also thought it was kind of crazy that, people on Twitter were defending this price hike. Like the tribalism, as Gary would have put it. I'm gonna share a quote here in a second, but the tribalism that is kind of showing, and don't get me wrong, there's tribalism on the Xbox side too. Tribalism on the Xbox side, they were commenting on these posts being like, Xbox better. It happens everywhere, and it's very unfortunate. But I don't know how you justify or, as a diehard Sony fan, even defend a price hike like this. It's quite interesting that there were people that even came out and said that. So Gary Whitta here on Twitter, Gary Whitta, by the way, writer of Rogue One over at Kind of Funny. He's pretty cool. He says the tribal mindset used to be necessary to survive thousands of years ago. Now it compels people to do stuff like defending Sony raising the price of the PS5 because their chosen tribe/brand can never do wrong. Somebody tweeted back at him, and it was just like, have you not, he was talking to Gary about like, how come you're not complaining about like everything else being inflated and stuff? And Gary goes, thanks for proving my point. and then I said, my dude, Gary isn't going to be talking about freaking milk on socials. He's in the game industry. Like, he's not going to be complaining about inflation anywhere else. Like,
and these daggone bread prices.
Right? Like,
hey, I'm just saying,
it's just those types of things. It's just crazy.
I got that
Matt
Stouffer's
Pepperidge
lasagna
Farm.
the other day, and it was like $30, and I was like, what the?
What? Right. At Stouffer's. I will say, I mean, to be fair to Sony, right? Like, if they're saying, hey, inflation has caused us to raise the price of this product, like, that could be a legitimate excuse. To Justin's, to Justin's point, the other two console manufacturers said we don't have to do that. But Sony, Sony's not in the same position. They're not the same teams, but like, there is a great philosopher by the name of Fat Joe, and his great quote is, yesterday's price is not today's price. So, today's price is $5.50. And, so like, that's what it is. And you don't have to be tribalism. It doesn't have to be tribalism to defend Sony raising the price. It most likely is tribalism that is getting people to defend it. But things cost more.
Yeah. Regardless to even if it is a legitimate reason, it still doesn't look good for Sony.
No, it doesn't look good.
And they can't control that if it is a legitimate reason, and and that's what it is. It is what it is at that point. Sony needs to take that hit and take that PR hit, and
they will. They're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing too. It's like, this is harkening back to the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Like, this is just a layup for Nintendo and Xbox. Be like, we're not raising the price, and we don't foresee us raising the price. Like, that's just the type of PR hit that, Sony took back then. Here's how you share games. They just handed people the disc. It's that type of thing. Like, it's those particular things are layups. But in general, they said that they're making the decision because of inflation, which is true. Everything is going up. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But at the end of the day, like Justin said, they are taking the hit, and it's just very odd to me that a company as big as Sony is not able to take those costs. Obviously, Microsoft is a whole different ball game. They have different types of checks that they can write, but it's just still interesting that it's certainly unprecedented times. It's pretty crazy, pretty wild. I think another conversation to have surrounding that is exactly what you brought up, Justin. Like, in some of these territories, if you are a diehard PlayStation fan and you also want to get into PSVR 2, you're now up to $1,000 more than likely, because PSVR 2, there's no way that it's going to be less than $400, especially if Oculus 2 just went up to $400. So, like, hypothetically speaking, in some of these territories, you could be spending $550 for the console itself, and then to get a peripheral that you might want, be another $500 potentially. Like, that's crazy to get into that particular peripheral, Justin.
Yeah, completely agree. It's putting that price bar a little bit higher. With the HTC Vive on PC, it's $1,000 just for that setup, and that doesn't even include the price of the computer you need to run that or run the VR content. So it's very similar to that. Now you're almost doubling your input to get what you want if you are a fan of VR and you wanted to give that a shot.
It's incredible. I mean, again, prices are going up all over the place. I personally, I think that the Oculus, the Meta Rift, going up $100 is more egregious than the PlayStation going up $50.
I almost agree with that. Yeah, because like I agree with that because the demand was there, right? Like the demand for the PlayStation 5 is there, and regardless of the $50 price hike, those, like you said, they're all going to sell out, regardless. But VR is such a niche product, and I think to raise that price for the Oculus Quest 2 is, I agree, it's pretty egregious.
I think an easy way for Sony to maybe eat a little less PR is do what Oculus did with that, though, because Oculus decided we're going to have to raise the price due to inflation, but we're going to give you one of the best-selling games, Beat Saber, free of charge when you buy an Oculus now. So Sony could easily just say, here's one of our top-selling games, Spider-Man or God of War, and put a digital, and that would help.
If you do that, right, you do it, and you throw a packing game in there. And
or not even a pack-in game. Use this as a way to promote PlayStation Plus, like their new program. Maybe hey, we got this price hike now, but we're also going to bundle in 1 month or 3 months or something to kind of offset that value you're paying.
You should be giving your new customers 3 months anyway.
Yeah,
I mean,
with any console purchase,
it'll cost you, right? It'll cost you, maybe it loses you a little bit of money, but
and you got them hooked.
You gotta give them a taste.
Yeah,
you gotta give them a taste.
Xbox has been doing that for a long time. They bundle in a month or two with every
Xbox
console.
Live,
Xbox Live. So that's really when your games are $70 a piece. People are going to be shelling out the extra money for the console. Here's a few extra months of our premium plan. You get endless games. You're gonna get a hankering at that point. You'll continue and make more money.
All right. Well, yeah. PS5 price jump, pretty unprecedented. I don't think it's ever happened.
Where was that announced?
PlayStation blog.
Yeah.
It was an official PlayStation blog, and then everybody.
During Gamescom.
Yeah, it was 2 days ago.
Oh.
Actually, it was on a Thursday.
Oh, we should talk about Gamescom.
Well,
yeah.
Sounds good. Thanks. So next on the list is Gamescom. Thank you for that. That was a home run segue.
There you go.
That was a lollipop. That was a meatball. Anyway. Gamescom, yeah. So we're just gonna go through some of the highlights. Maybe just say one of your favorite announcements, and we'll go from there. So, Cicero, let's go your way first. Something that was pretty cool.
Pretty cool for me was the High on Life demo.
Okay.
The walkthrough for that game, it looks ridiculous.
The IGN one or the boss fight?
Both.
Okay.
So IGN had a 25-minute preview. They also had like a 13-minute interview on the show floor. Then they also had a boss fight video. I think the 25-minute one had all of that stuff in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the game, the game looks irreverent and stuff like that. And watching the interview with those guys, you could see that they were really passionate about the work that they did and big fans of the humor that they added into the game. But the thing that really stuck out to me was how colorful the game was and how beautiful it was. At this fidelity, it was a very, very pretty looking game. I was surprised from a relatively small studio. All things considered. The other game that I want to mention quickly is Skull and Bones. I played that game behind closed doors at E3 2018, I think. And it looked like it was ready to go with the bit that I played, and was able to play like multiplayer matches and all sorts of stuff. There was things happening. But yeah, the fact that it's finally coming out, I thought it was never going to see the light of day. To see the big previews on Skull and Bones was pretty cool too.
Oh, Justin.
So High on Life definitely piqued my interest with that long IGN playthrough. I've never really been into Rick and Morty, but I do want to announce here, Cicero, I did start watching it again for the second time, and I'm like 5 episodes in. So I'm enjoying it for what I've seen so far. That game's coming free to Game Pass. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Other than that, obviously the PlayStation DualSense controller, so I could spend more money. No. No. Callisto Protocol. This game was like Dead Space reimagined in my mind. And I feel like that's what it is. It's the predecessor. So it was gory, it was action-packed, and it had a lot of interesting elements that Dead Space really didn't. So I feel like this looked like one of the games that I'm really stoked for, and I can't wait. We got a long playthrough with one of the developers, and it was interesting, and it was really cool to see how far this storyline kind of thing has come with space and being stranded and stuff like that. It's really cool. I liked it a lot. Other than that, the biggest one that really hit me was Dune. I'm sure you're excited about Dune as well. Dune Awakening, still to be announced when it's coming out, but the sand physics and how it looked, wow, stunning for sure.
I'm down on that Dune game because it's a survival MMO, and that's just not the type of game that I'm particularly interested in. At least
have
MMO
you
wise.
played any before?
I know what an MMO is, and I just don't know if I have a time for it. Because truly MMOs, you definitely have to invest the time to get what you want out of it. And I just don't know, and I do know that investment is high. So I just don't know if I have the time, but we shall see. I loved Dune the movie. So I mean, I'm all for other things being made within that IP. I think I'm more interested in the RTS that they announced at E3 at Jeff Keighley's opening night live for that section. Summer Games Fest. There we go.
Was that real? The Dune RTS?
Yeah.
Because that's how like Dune was like the first RTS.
Yeah. So then there is a new Dune RTS coming out. Dune strategy game 2022. It's called Spice Wars. So it's a 4X real-time strategy game from the developers of the critically acclaimed Northgard. I don't know that game. But anyway, I think I'm more interested in that versus the other game, but regardless. One of my biggest ones was, and it's kind of weird because they're doing it as a Souls-like, that's kind of what they're marketing it as, but it's more action focused, like Ninja Gaiden, so to speak. And this is Team Ninja's new game, Wolong Fallen Dynasty. This was announced at Xbox's showcase earlier this year, and there was a new gameplay trailer that came out at Gamescom. And first of all, this is going straight into Game Pass. But secondly, the combat, the trailer was a combat trailer specifically, and the combat looks so fun and reminiscent of like the old action games that I used to play, like Ninja Gaiden Black, Ninja Gaiden 2 on the 360, some of those other ones. I'm about to play Bayonetta, stuff like that. So I'm actually really excited for this aesthetic. And looking at this trailer at 4K, I decided I was watching it on my phone upstairs, and I was like, no, I'm going downstairs and I'm watching this on my 4K TV, and I did, downstairs. And it was epic. So I'm really looking forward to that. The other standout for me, probably, I'm trying to find it here in this list. I didn't find it.
I've got a few shout outs just because we didn't mention them.
Yeah, but I did find it. Gotham Knights wasn't delayed. It was brought forward a couple days. So it's now coming out October 21st. And I know me and Cicero were having a conversation. I think it might have been in our group chat, but like their villains trailer that came out actually really did it for me. So this might be switching my mind on like whether it's a day one or like a week one purchase. I really love the fact that Clayface is in it. Clayface is such an amazing villain, and he hasn't been given his due within the Arkham franchise and within Gotham Knights. We're going to be seeing him, so I'm really excited for that. I'm kind of over Harley Quinn, but that boss fight was kind of fun watching. But I kind of want to play this game, so we'll see.
Yeah, the animation in that game just doesn't look.
Same.
It does not look good.
I watched that entire Harley Quinn thing, and I was like, "This is not good."
And I want to share your enthusiasm for it because the lore sounds great, but it just does not look like it is done cooking.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. You gotta get your hands on it, right? To really feel if the combat's gonna be okay, and who knows, it might be somewhere I'm thinking about doing it. So,
okay,
yeah.
Other than
did you have?
Yeah.
I thought you had other things.
Yeah, I've got a couple, just like little quick post them in here. One, Return to Monkey Island. We got a release date trailer. September 19th this year. Can't wait for that. And also, out of the blue, completely unannounced, Dead Island 2 is back in the news. And February 3rd of next year. I'm down. I was a big fan of the first one and Riptide. Bring it back. Let's see it done correct. I think it's in Los Angeles now. It looked great. It looked like they just picked up the pieces and kept running, and some companies have done that and made a terrible product, so let's hope for the best here.
Yeah, well, let's see. We got some more news about Forspoken.
Yeah, we did, I guess. Still no name change yet, but
that's
Forspoken.
I do want to take this time to say one thing. Gaming fans, specifically gaming fans that get hyped by Sony products and announcements, stop it. Right? We're getting hyped and excited for this DualShock DualSense Pro controller. Who knows when that's going to come out? PSVR 2 was announced, but we had yet another big game conference, and there was no mention of it. We have no price. We have no information. So, don't get hyped for these things, because by the time you finally get them, who knows where the industry will be.
All right. You heard it here
from the wise
first.
Yeah.
All right. It's time for the namesake. Let's get into Test Your Might. Gentlemen, Harley Quinn, boss fight. We're just kind of talking about it. Was shown from Gotham Knights. So pick any one video game character and pitch a boss fight for the upcoming game. So Justin, you wrote the outline. Is this Gotham Knights specifically? And you have to pick a Batman character for the boss fight?
It says video game character.
Okay, so it has to be a boss fight in Gotham Knights, but you can choose any video game character?
That's what it looks like. Yes.
Okay.
That's what it looks like. He wrote it.
Yeah, because
Very
Justin is
specifically, yeah.
super confused. That's not specific at all.
That's the point.
Yeah, well, therefore, I'm confused, so I'm giving it to Cicero first. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'll let Justin take the lead.
All right. You know, Sony fans are gonna hate me for this one. But you know, Xbox, we've been waiting for a long time, through a lot of exclusivities, through a lot of timed exclusivities, inevitable exclusivities, and you know, Final Fantasy VII still not on the Xbox. So there's only one person who could make this game better, in my opinion. One enemy. He's got a long sword. He's got one wing, and that's Sephiroth.
Oh, Sephiroth.
So Sephiroth is going
Sephiroth.
into Gotham Knights.
Oh yeah. A lot of people would buy that game for that. We've got the remake finally. It's here.
Cicero.
Well, you know what? I read this question and I've thought long and hard, and
You were as confused as me?
you know what? I decided that I wasn't even going to have to leave Gotham Knights, or at least Gotham, to get my character. And if you've played an Arkham game, if you've played any games in Gotham, you have definitely, or featuring Batman, you've definitely come across this character. And it's a character that you think about often. That would be Henchman A.
Gonna consult my friend of Google real quick.
You need to
Henchman
Google
A
what Henchman A is?
Or Goon.
Goon?
Goon or Thug.
Justin, you shouldn't have to Google this. He's using a generic villain.
Oh, okay.
All right, Justin, go ahead.
So I feel like the trailers that we've gotten for Gotham have shown some characters that are life bar based, obviously, and they seem difficult and rather spongy. This would definitely be a character that took a beating, but would require help to defeat. Sephiroth would have multiple life bars, so you would never get tired of sponge kicking the crap out of this character, because the life bars just would be endless. Giant blades, control of demons and spirits, different magic attacks. We'd have mind control of sucking the power out of these characters. You know, the lead characters for Gotham Knights each have their own little area of expertise, and Sephiroth would be able to blind them or take their abilities away for limited times. You'd have to break free of that control. Sephiroth would just look awesome. He isn't much larger than normal human characters, so it wouldn't be like a Godzilla character or something like that, which I debated using. But I think Sephiroth would be something that would be unique here, because he's got a blade, sure, but he can take a beating and block bullets, block attacks, and also fly, kind of, with one wing.
Cicero, Joe Schmo.
Well, what do you need in a scary villain or boss fight is unpredictability, right? And there's nothing more unpredictable than homogeny, right? You've got just the henchmen all over the place, and they're just in the crowd. You don't know who it is. They're all generic, and they just keep coming. They, like, every mission you start, there's just tons and tons of henchmen, and even if you punch him in the face, he just comes back. How do you stop that?
Ooh. So yours is like grindy too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead, Justin. Battle
Oh,
it out.
what weapons would henchmen have? Or would it just be fisticuffs? Would it just be fists?
Who are you asking?
Oh, you.
And you.
You.
Oh.
I'm not arguing.
It would just be beer bottles and
yeah. So I mean,
lead
yeah, he
pipes and
would.
stuff.
Yeah, he have fist and bottle of 2x4, garbage can.
All right, so let's see. If we had these characters in Gotham Knights fighting someone that was particular on the screen that you would know who it was, that really fits the motif of this game, right? So because you have that boss bar, you have that life bar, I think that would fit well. For yours, it would be kind of a blurred fight. You know, you wouldn't know if you were hitting the correct person or not, but still would be exciting because there would be endless waves of enemies. I like that. But I just feel like Sephiroth would hold that weight for fans. I think it would sell games more so than the characters that they've already included in Gotham Knights. I feel like Xbox fans would be like, "Ooh, Final Fantasy VII remake is here, but it's a crossover in Gotham Knights, and here's a giant, white-haired one-winged demon character that's going to fight against our lead crew. Something that raises the difficulty of the game even further and requires a lot more work to defeat. So I think it would work better, in my opinion.
What's better than being part of the group and knowing that you've got a big tribe behind you? It's being in on a secret that not everybody is up on, and being able to share that secret and spread that secret amongst a select group of people who can then continue to proliferate that secret amongst the masses, right? And what is better than a secret? A twist. And in Gotham Knights, what if the twist is that the boss that you're fighting all along is the henchman that you see all the time?
Mm.
And so people start playing the game and they realize secretly that it's brilliant, and then they tell people, it's like, no, you gotta wait for it. You gotta wait for the twist. And then the twist happens and they tell somebody and they tell somebody, and soon it just spreads like wildfire. The henchman twist. That is why the henchman is the best boss. Period. In the story. I will collect my winnings now.
One more ding, Justin.
One more ding. I feel like that would be short-lived. I don't think there would be a lot of replayability. I think that you would know that the second playthrough. You would know that when going through replaying levels. You would be feeling like you were hitting the same person over and over and not doing any more damage. I feel like you would be knowing that you were kicking the crap out of the henchman, which was the real villain throughout the entire game, but still having to be forced to go to that ending at the end.
It's procedurally generated, and you're talking about knowing the ending. You've got Sephiroth. There's no branching.
It's still way more glorious than kicking the crap out of the lead
branching
villain
dialogues. It's the brilliance of the journey. It's not that, once you know how to get to grandma's house, you know how to get to grandma's house. But that first time going to grandma's house, the discovery of the journey is what you will always remember. And that's why
I don't agree.
Then you tell people about it. Yo, you got to go to grandma's house. You got to take the trip to grandma's house. Just wait for it. Wait until you see it.
Like when you go through Kingdom Hearts and you fight Sephiroth, he's not a bad guy you need to defeat. It's something that you defeat to say you did so. So I feel like this is a challenge for the players of Gotham Knights to beat this person, to beat Sephiroth and say, hey, guess what? I killed his 99,000 health bars and actually finished it. And someone else will be like, you wasted all that time, and you'll be like, yeah, but I did it. And it's more of an achievement based thing. It's more of like the say you did it I think that's the thrill that people of Batman series love in the first place. So I think that would be.
You know what people of Batman series love? Great stories, great twists, things that you haven't seen before, and having a common enemy actually be the boss is a thing that you haven't seen before. It's a thing that you would see definitely in like a Frank Miller type of graphic novel or something like that. Like
So you're saying this character that you see in every single Batman game or movie that's always been there holds more weight than someone you've never seen in a Batman movie or game.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, because you won't see it coming. Right?
I'm gonna call it. Cicero, I like where your head's at. I think it was a unique argument. I think that it would sort of fit within the lore of Batman. However, I think that Justin got you on that last remark where he said that Sephiroth would offer a certain challenge, and we are talking about a boss fight, and with henchmen throughout the game aren't challenging. So I think he got you on that one word. Although I think that's kind of crazy, which is something that they're kind of exploring with the Court of Owls. So I think you got a cool sort of thing there. But Justin takes the cake on that one. Okay, that's all right, Cicero. You could swing back because
send your hate mail.
Justin had no hate mails. Justin hasn't played a Madden in years, so maybe you got the one up on him. The new Madden is out, but fans want more. And your task is to add a feature to twist up the Madden format. And why is that feature going to be better than your opponent's? So I'm going losers out this time. So Cicero, you do get the floor again. Would you like to go first or second?
You know what? I'm going to go first this time.
Okay.
And
great.
This is a feature that they don't have. This is a feature that they won't have, but is a feature that they used to have, and it's a feature that they need to have. And that is, in the franchise mode, player holdouts and contract renegotiations.
I don't know
Okay.
what that is.
Cicero, I'll give you some expounding time to just kind of enlighten Justin.
Sure. Oh, right now? Sure.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So a player holdout is a player looks at his contract and is like, oh, I'm not getting paid anywhere close to what my value is at my position across the league. I don't like my contract anymore. I'm not playing until you guys give me a better contract. You renegotiate my contract, and then I'll play. And sometimes guys will sit out. They just won't. They won't play. And you gotta run the risk of trying to renegotiate with them, or letting them sit out, and or cutting them, and everybody losing out on their money. So player holdouts and then contract renegotiation. Sometimes a guy will be like, he's a team guy and he says, hey, I know I'm about to get a balloon payment on my contract, and that will keep us from being competitive for a longer period of time. I'll renegotiate my contract so that I can take less money for more years. And that way we'll have more money to spend on other players.
Yeah.
Okay.
More renegotiating contract is more common in the NBA, but we can do that in the NFL too. So, Justin, what feature you adding to Madden?
So my feature is a feature that has never been in Madden, nor will ever be in Madden, and should never be in Madden. But I think it would twist up the gameplay a little bit, and that's allowing our players to fly. And that means they can go on a 3D scale. Not just tossing on a linear path across the field, but also move up and down, which would allow a lot more skill to your tosses, would allow a lot more skill to your tackles, and allow a lot more skill level to get good before you got great. And I feel like that would change up the formula of Madden just a little bit, but not changing fundamentally the game of football. It would allow enough of a change that players that would be able to fly around the field in a rectangular prism, for to say, and throw passes and tackle and run down the field or fly down the field to score touchdowns.
Go ahead, Cicero.
What am I doing here? Am I defending mine? Am I attacking his?
I mean, it's your argument. I'm just giving you. I don't lead the debate. You just got the floor.
Oh, I don't know. Well, fine. I don't need ask questions. I don't need to debate neither. I already said what I said. I said what I said.
All right, Justin, would you like to rebuttal?
So player holdouts, right? Like, the whole point of Madden is to recreate the game that we see played on any given Sunday or Monday or Thursday, sometimes Saturday, occasionally on Friday. One aspect of the game is that players will look at their contracts and say, hey, this doesn't work for me. You guys are making out better than I am over here, and we need to fix that, right? Like, you'll get a guy who completely is outplaying where you thought he was going to be, and now he's got a little bit more leverage, and he exercises that leverage. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a fundamental part of the game that is being missed in the franchise, and would add a level of realism and a level of complexity, and more fun to the current game if they were able to add that.
Rebuttal, Justin.
I just feel like, a menu option of choosing to your contracts are something, but not like unless you're playing football simulator, coach simulator, you're not really that much worried about that. You're more about playing the game and being in the action when it comes to Madden. So I feel like with Madden, being able to just think about flying vertically and tossing the ball down towards your running back or whoever catches balls in football, and you throw the ball and they have to measure the line of scrimmage vertically and horizontally. I think that's something that would make a complexity to the game and also make it a lot more fun, because you're literally chasing someone across the field and vertically in the air to get to that touchdown. I feel like that would make great gameplay, and also the replays would be hysterical to watch as someone trying to reach for someone's ankles while underneath them to tackle them. And I feel like it would change the formula enough that would make it almost a new sport in that case. Because yes, it would be football, and the goal would be to get to the end zone and score touchdowns or kick field goals. But also the flight mechanic would bring in a new audience because it would create a new sport in a way. And I think that would be beneficial to Madden, to bring in a new audience instead of the same, crowd that keeps buying Madden every year.
So how are they flying? Jetpacks?
Wings.
Oh,
yeah, wings.
So they're flapping?
Yes. Yeah.
Flapping.
Their wings would be flapping, and they would be kind of part of the uniform in this case. So the Bears would have a deep blue.
As the player with the controller, how am I flying?
You would be pressing a button to go up or down based on the direction of the field.
So you constantly be pressing that button.
Oh, you would be holding A to go up, kind of like flight controls would be.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And then you've got to pick the button to pass and spin and do all the other things that you got to do.
Yeah. That's the complexity.
Yeah. So I know you're the judge, and I'm not playing to the judge, but I'm only using the judge as an example, because the judge said he didn't want to pick the more complex version of the passing mechanic for Madden because he wasn't going to be playing it that often. Now you're going to add a flying component to the passing mechanic that's now 3-dimensional and can be completely vertical as well as horizontal.
Oh yeah.
I just think that'll be too complex.
Everyone knows what wings look like in football. Okay.
Franchise players, of which Madden players, the most, there is a large double digits percentage of the Madden players that are hardcore franchise players would look for, and would be enthusiastic about the addition of player holdouts, or the reintroduction of player holdouts, and player contract renegotiations.
Okay.
I just think it doesn't. I just don't think it holds very much fun gameplay for that.
I'm calling it. Justin, that was wild.
Oh yeah. Yep.
It certainly does add a twist.
Oh yeah.
But despite me not playing Madden all the time, I am very ingrained in that community, and Cicero got you on that last bit. The franchise community is nuts when it comes to Madden, and if you add certain features to, I mean, the way the franchise folks look at Madden, it is their RPG, it is their role-playing game, and when you add certain features like that, it brings just enough of a twist that I'm okay with it. So going with Cicero, I did like your skill gap argument though, Justin. That was going to win you it unless Cicero mentioned the franchise thing, which he did. So yes, I thoroughly enjoy skill gaps in games. So okay, we're tied 1-1. A Killer Clowns from Outer Space. We didn't mention this, but this is awesome too. This is the Killer Clowns from Outer Space game. It's an asymmetrical game that was announced, made by the Friday the 13th developers, I believe. But it was announced. So what old scary movie deserves a game, and what would it look like? So Cicero, you won. That means Justin loses out. What would you like? First or second, Justin?
I'm going to let Cicero go first on this horror one. I want to see what he's got brewing over there in the old Elm Street book.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Well, you can't mention Elm Street. So we were talking old scary movies, right? So, this movie scared me because it talked about a possibility that I mean really terrified me. Now even just thinking about it right now, I'm trying to hold myself together. And that is when the Cleveland Indians beat the New York Yankees in Major League. So Major League is the old scary movie.
All right.
You're serious? You're serious?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. This is hilarious. Okay, I can't wait to see what happens. Justin, your pick.
I'm looking up that movie really quick here. I just want to make sure.
Never seen Major League? Charlie Sheen?
I think so. So this was a movie that I was forced to watch recently. And I'm saying recent, like 2017, because that's when this released. And I know I want Cicero to think, it's a good movie and he should go see it. But this is a terrifying movie, and that's going to be the My Little Pony, the movie. And I want this to be made into a game, a current gen game that is based on the movie and also the property. Well, the game that is already out isn't. I don't think it's based on the movie that I saw. Is it, Cicero? I don't think it is. No, it's not.
No, the game. No, the game. Yes, the game that you told me to play is not based on the movie.
Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, let's get these characters that little girls know that are terrifying and make it into a scary game. Teletubbies has done it, and My Little Pony is no different. Let's get these ponies eating flesh and running around and killing people. Yeah, My Little Pony the movie, the game.
It's Battle of the M's.
You guys are throwing curveballs here. Major League, Cicero, please expound.
So this game will be a asymmetrical RPG horror game. So you have just finished playing a game, a baseball game, and it is after the game, right? So you're not playing. You don't actually play baseball in this baseball game or this game based on the movie that's about baseball. You're doing other things. You're trying to get out of the locker. You're trying to get out of the locker room. You're trying to get away from groupies. There are all sorts of different things that are happening. Reporters want to talk to you. All sorts of different things are going on and taking place during the course of this game. It depends on where you happen to be. If you're when you're on a road trip, you've got to watch out for road groupies. So they'll be chasing you down. They're trying to get into your hotel room. You got to watch out for those kinds of things. And sometimes you'll be with your teammates. Sometimes you'll get separated, and then you got to watch out. Somebody may get grabbed by a groupie. There's all sorts of maybe there's an annoying reporter who has bad breath, and you've got to run. You got to try not to get trapped by them, and you have to answer their questions. Like, there's just a myriad different gameplay scenarios in this horrifying game.
Sharif's gonna really like this choice. Go ahead, Justin.
I like this concept of a game that you got going on where people are pursuing you to ask questions and interview you and cause you to delay you pretty much and stop you from continuing your daily tasks and how to get out of there. I do like that. Mine has a little bit more of a significance of death involved. You have Rainbow Dash galloping towards you at high velocities, and you hear the hooves behind you as a signature sound effect as Rainbow Dash comes to eat your flesh. Things that you, when watching the movie, you're like, this is the worst thing I could possibly endure right now. And to put it into a game in the mindset of that, so you have that horror-based element, really scaring the crap out of you as you play, either cooperatively or single player. You have multiple unicorns or ponies coming around trying to kill you, and you have to get the heck away, and you have to run with, what are you going to do? You can't run as fast as Rainbow Dash, right? You got to get away. You get away as quickly as possible and avoid those hooves and those teeth, and obviously the horns of some of them, and even some of them have magic. So, it's a lose-lose for the most part, but I feel like life at stake would definitely trigger a lot more people than answering questions in an interview.
Cicero, rebuttal?
Well, so for those of you that don't know, like Justin, who have never seen Major League is about a professional baseball franchise that is historically horrendous, and through a series of fortunate events start to become good, and make their way to the playoffs and then eventually to the World Series. So this game would start out in the earlier levels. You guys aren't good, and the people are chasing behind you. The reporters are chasing behind you, asking you questions about why you're terrible. But as you get better, what's going to happen is that the groupies. So originally the groupies that you'd see are not very attractive, but they're smelly. They're chasing after you. They're just they're the Ugbugs, and you just want to get away from them because they're just scary looking. But then as you go further and further along, they they become more persistent. There's more of them. When the team gets more successful, the reporters become more start using more ingenuity with respect to where they're hiding or how aggressive they're going to be in trying to get you to answer questions. So all of these things, all you want to do is sleep. All you want to do is get ready for the next game. All you want to do is hang out with your teammates. But all of these people, all of these distractions, all of these things are trying to stop you from finishing your tasks. And if you don't finish your tasks, if you don't get enough rest, you're not going to be well rested for the game, and you could injure yourself. And if you injure yourself, you lose your job. And if you lose your job, you can't feed your family. And if you can't feed your family, your life is over. It don't get more scary than that.
All right, well, is Charlie Sheen going to be behind this? Because I saw him on the cast list.
Charlie Sheen is in it.
All right. Yeah, sure. Not being able to feed your family, your life is over, is pretty impactful. But you could still pick yourself up and continue your life after that. You'd be dead in my game. These ponies, Rainbow Dash or whoever's chasing after you, and you just hear that hooves coming behind you, would kill you. You would be gone, and there would be no picking your life up and continuing without your family or food. This is something that would impact the character completely. So I feel like that dramatic change in living and dying would be much more impactful to your life per se.
It's more torturous. Death is quick. It's over. But to be tortured lasts forever. That's far more scary, my friend.
I think you would much rather watch Major League for the runtime than to sit in front of My Little Pony, the movie, the game, for its runtime.
All right, I'm calling it. Cicero, I think that you started off great, but then failed to speak to why this would be a scary story for everybody, but rather just like a baseball player simulation. Versus
that's who you're inhabiting. You're inhabiting.
I understand that, but that's not necessarily scary when this is a nightmare of you, and your Cleveland Indians beating your Yankees. So that part was scary personally to me, but everything else, Let me ask you a question. All right. I think I have to go with Justin's game by default.
My Little Pony, the movie, the game.
Yeah, going by that. So, Justin has 2. Cicero has 1. We're going into the blind fight.
Oh no!
This blind fight. It's from me.
Lasagna.
It's from me. There was a recent retweet Twitter thing going on.
Okay, retweet Twitter thing.
Yeah, that's what happens on there.
Yeah,
where people were putting a screenshot of their single favorite single player of all time, single player video game of all time. So you need to tell me your favorite single player game of all time. No multiplayer is in this game whatsoever. I'm not even talking co-op. Like, we're talking single player game 100% all the time. Tell me why it's better than your opponents. Cicero, you lost, so you get to go, but this is also a quick attack. This is also a quick attack. We have not done a quick attack in a while, so listeners, if you have not, if you don't remember what a quick attack is that each of these two will get 1 minute for their opening argument, and then afterwards they will get 30 seconds to rebuttal, and then they will get a 30-second closing argument. And so, Cicero, you get to choose. So would you like to go first or second?
I will go first.
Okay. Cicero, your time starts when you first start talking. Greatest single-player game of all time.
I'll say that a hero can save us. It's not going to stand in your way. That hero happens to be the one and only Mr. Peter Parker, Peter Benjamin Parker. He lives in New York City. Sometimes people know him by the amazing, the spectacular, the web of, not the ultimate, but Spider-Man. And he is famously played well in Insomniac's Marvel Spider-Man.
18 seconds.
I got 18 seconds to talk about the greatest multiplayer, the greatest single player game of all time. It was without any multiplayer. This game had a great story. It had great mechanics. It was accessible. It was the best.
Time. All right, Justin. Opening argument. What is the best single player game of all time? Clock starts when you start talking.
For me, it's not Insomniac's Spider-Man. It's going to be BioShock from 2K. I feel like this game had a nice narrative to it, a nice grimy story, stuff you could relate to in character development and character growth. You had choice of good and evil throughout the entire game. You had a very approachable first-person shooter-esque gameplay. So you were able to pick that up and not have to worry about this button does this and this button does that. You know how to shoot a gun, pull the trigger. And then you also get your abilities through your atom in your left trigger. So it was very simple to pick it up and just point and go. And you were able to experience that story very easily without having to hold this button, swing with this one, push A, hold this to crawl on a wall, continue. It's very easy once you play for a long time, but initially those controls can get kind of fuzzy.
All right. Cicero, 30 seconds for your rebuttal. Clock starts when you start talking.
What more is there to say about a game that I haven't already said? Again, it's accessible. It doesn't waste your time. It's a great game. It makes you feel like Spider-Man, and it makes you want to complete it like a Justin. Turns everybody into Justin because they want 100% the game.
7 seconds.
Oh, well, 7 seconds. Say Spider-Man, Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
He's a pick.
All right, Justin. 30 seconds.
Spider-Man took something that we already knew and implicated it in a way that has been done before with Spider-Man 2 and the PS2 and the GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was a good option and a good way to continue a story we knew. BioShock was something brand new. We were introduced to it and grew with it at point A. So I feel like that does a lot to help the story and help the character development throughout. BioShock, 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 BioShock. BioShock. Rapture.
Rapture is next. Let that not be on the record. That was not in time. Cicero, your closing arguments. You may choose to rebuttal. You may choose to lift up your game. Maybe a mixture of both. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I'll say that BioShock is a fantastic game. One of the best games of all time. But there's something to be said about the accessibility of making a game that is licensed and making it great. Not only fantastic, but one of the greatest of all time. That's what Insomniac did with Marvel's Spider-Man. It is fantastic. One of my favorite games of all time. Just the best. Not BioShock, Spider-Man. Not BioShock.
Time. No, that second, not BioShock, Spider-Man, nixed from the record. Justin.
No.
Sure, let's take a great IP and make it amazing and limit it to one console only and one publisher only. Let's keep it on one console and not bring it over to others so everyone can experience it. BioShock was brought to everyone and every console. We had PlayStation 3 versions and Xbox. Not Spider-Man, BioShock, Rapture. It also had How Much Is That Doggy in the Window, the soundtrack. You know that song. It's good. Doggies, windows and dogs. Rapture.
All right, you're done. Okay. So I'm going to be upfront and honest. Justin's last argument, I am nixing from the record. Reason being is because I don't think that exclusivity really does bring down the argument for Cicero. So I'm going to ignore that. Now, bear in mind, listeners, I have never played BioShock. I have just installed it though, so I am going to be playing it soon. And yet, I have played Spider-Man. I love that game. One of my favorite games of all time. Still giving this argument to Justin, even though that whole third argument I did not count.
Wow, you said
I only needed two, Cicero. I only
three
needed
of
two.
my arguments.
How much is that dog? Wait, how much did that doggy count? Because that was part of that.
No, that whole argument, but still, Justin wins because I think that he hit you really hard with this is a story that we kind of already know. And I think that was his biggest argument. Even though, yes, listeners, the Spider-Man from Insomniac is different than what we've known before, but still, I liked Justin's pitch that this is an original story with BioShock, original characters. We're going with Justin on that one. That means Justin wins. Cicero's winning streak is over. He's been.
Can I get my? Can I talk to my fans for a second here?
Yeah. Please,
Number one, I don't want them to think that I hate Spider-Man. Cicero picked a game that is very difficult to talk about in a negative annotation way. I love that game personally, and it's very good, and it's up there. Cicero made a very, very hard choice for me to nix it as much as I had to.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you, Quack Quack. How much is that doggy in the window for the win?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, listeners, we're moving on to our leaderboard. Let's make this a quick one. Favorite movie turned into games of all time. So kind of licensed games, but we're going specifically with movies. And this is in honor of Killer Clowns from Outer Space getting a video game. So, Justin, what are your top three?
Easy. Number one, GoldenEye. N64.
Okay.
Nothing's ever going to top that for me. Alien versus Predator. This is the game in 2010, which you play 3 different storylines.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. And then the last one, where'd it go? I had it right here. Oh, Aladdin. Classic Aladdin, Sega Genesis.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks of Aladdin.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's a good one.
Cicero, you're up next.
I will go with thanks for reminding me, Justin, of some games, but I'm gonna go with X-Men Origins Wolverine.
It's a good one.
Goodness.
Well, you didn't like that game?
No, I love that game, and Cicero stole one of mine.
Right.
Now you say the Goonies.
Wasn't that Insomniac?
Because that movie was terrible. I don't.
I'm on a list right now. I'll go down to X. X-Men Origin is Activision Ravensoft. Nope.
Yep. Oh, Raven Software. That's what I was thinking. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
All right. So then my next game will be Super Empire Strikes Back.
Nice.
For the SNES.
Incredibly difficult, but very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then, so these are tough because there are games based on the movies, but not based they're not based on the movie.
Yeah. Like Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man. That's something that you can't.
Right,
yeah.
right. Well, or
not even
the
that.
new Ghostbusters game, which is it took place after. That kind of stuff. My third one will have to be. I'm gonna go Prince of Persia.
Nice. Perfect.
Prince of Persia, the the game based on the movie.
Based on the
Sands of Time one.
Yeah,
It's
Prince of
not
Persia
bad.
the game. Prince of Persia the movie, the game.
Yeah, it's not bad, but it was fun. I played through that one.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, Knights of the Old Republic that can't be
no,
on the list.
because it's not based on a movie.
Not yet. Star Wars.
So shout out to friend of the show Chris Clow. And his podcast about video games,
Yes.
called Comics on Consoles.
Comics on Console.
And one of his episodes, an episode that I thoroughly loved, was on Batman Begins. Batman Begins is a very, very underrated video game adaptation of a movie. It is actually extremely good. And I definitely recommend anybody who has the means to grab one of those old copies to do so. When I was growing up, N64, I played Toy Story 2 like crazy on the
It was
N64.
so good looking too.
It was good. It
Yeah.
was really good for a movie tie-in video game. And oh boy. You know what? I would be remiss if we did not include the other, Sega and Super Nintendo era classic. We're going Lion King.
Okay.
So might not be as good as Aladdin, but it is definitely up there. So Justin, what's your must-have?
Oh, definitely Alien versus Predator. 100%. You guys aren't going to put that up there, but it holds a place. I used to play the Alien Predator games back on the PC, and those were way before that one. That one really just cemented everything and made it a concrete game.
All right, Cicero, your must-have.
I'm going Super Empire Strikes Back.
Super Empire Strikes Back. All right. My must-have will be Batman Begins. Okay. I don't think we could have this list without GoldenEye. That's
not.
just my opinion.
Of course not.
I agree.
Okay. I'm assuming Justin will agree.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's when first-person shooting took off for a lot of people. Is that game that was really like you played Doom and Wolfenstein and stuff like that, but Quake, GoldenEye was it.
It's cool to mention this too, because GoldenEye was literally, I think
25.
it just hit its 25th anniversary.
Yeah, 25 years.
Cool to mention that as well.
I'm
gonna throw one out of left field.
Okay.
Like Cicero, Wolverine X-Men Origins was so good. The video
It was so
game.
good. It was super good.
It was super good.
It was super good.
There was other
debatably
things in
better
that
than
video.
the movie.
It's not debatably.
It's not debatable at all.
It's not debatable at all. That movie was
much better.
Deadpool was
god
in it.
awful.
Yeah.
Please stop.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds' first appearance as Deadpool. You gotta honor the history, the path he took.
It was also Gambit's first.
Yes,
and
Gambit
last.
was. Yeah, could have been so much better.
Anywho, but that is kind of out of left field, and I think it is one that we should talk about.
I agree with it actually.
I'm not opposed to that. We're
classics.
done.
We've got Super Empire. We've got GoldenEye for later classics. I think Origins
the only thing knocking back Origins is that it's not all about the movie. Even though the movie story is within it, it's there's still like a lot of other things within it, which is why it probably makes it good. But we're gonna put it on there anyway. So here's our list. Listeners: Alien vs. Predator, Super Empire Strikes Back, Batman Begins, GoldenEye, and Wolverine X-Men Origins in no particular order. Well, hey, this has been Test Your Might, the weekly video game debate show. Hey, if you've been listening to us this long, please consider leaving us a review. We would greatly appreciate it. It helps us with that algorithm. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit the like button, comment down below what you thought of tonight's debates, and hey, I'm going to challenge you. Comment down below what you think the best single-player game of all time is. Love to see all of your answers. And as always, subscribe. Yeah, we need you to subscribe. Hey, if you want to get in contact with us, the best way to do that is on our socials platform. So we are at What the Fun Pod on both Facebook and Twitter. And if you want to direct an email to us, at whatthefunpodcast@gmail.com. Okay, so just let us know there if you want to chat with us. So, hey, it's been fun. Thank you guys for Cicero, for Justin, and for me, Mike. We're out. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Peace.